When Ubisoft unveiled some new information about Assassin's Creed back in September 2022, we got a bit of a deeper glimpse into what Assassin's Creed Infinity is. Today, I'm gonna break down what it really is, as well as my thoughts on the future of Assassin's Creed with the introduction of Infinity. For a while, there was a ton of speculation about what Assassin's Creed Infinity could be since it was first teased. For the most part, pretty much everybody speculated that Infinity was going to be the live service take on Assassin's Creed. Now, when you think about what a live service game is, chances are you probably imagine something like Destiny 2 or Fortnite. These are typically known to be free games, but they can be paid and they are primarily played online. They deliver a lot of content through things like expansions and updates every now and then, which keeps that online component interesting and engaging. When I heard that Assassin's Creed Infinity would be a sort of live service, I honestly wasn't sure what to expect. I felt like it would be a strange direction for the series to take, seeing as you'd have to be more frequent in updates, and that would retract a bit from the narrative aspect of the main titles. However, the speculations turned out to be a bit far from the reality. During the announcement at Ubisoft Forward in 2022, I figured that Infinity was basically just going to be a hub for future Assassin's Creed games. The way I imagined it is what Call of Duty is doing, where you can basically just launch every recent title from a single launcher. That turned out to be kind of wrong as well. Mark Alexis Cote, the project leader for Assassin's Creed Infinity, gave more clarification and insight as to what Assassin's Creed fans can expect to see from Infinity. Basically, Assassin's Creed Infinity is supposed to be the home for a variety of games of different genres and lengths in the Assassin's Creed universe. It will mix both premium box games with paid and free content. There's also supposed to be a multiplayer mode that will supposedly unite the eras of the franchise. Infinity will also now be the home of the modern day story for Assassin's Creed. To put it in more simple terms, Infinity is just kind of going to be a platform that will host past and future Assassin's Creed titles. Starting with Codename Red, which is the Assassin's Creed RPG take on feudal Japan. Codename Red will be sold like any other Assassin's Creed mainline title is currently though. The big thing is that when you boot up Codename Red, you're going to be sent to the Infinity Hub that will allow you to launch another title such as Hexe, which is the next up in line from it. So I guess it's pretty similar in that regards to what Call of Duty did with its recent titles in their launcher. The games will all be bridged together in a way in the Infinity Hub, and it will act almost like the Animus does in past Assassin's Creed games. Remember how you could see the DNA sequences in Assassin's Creed when you entered the Animus? Same concept, but the DNA sequences will actually just be entries to the series, so Hexe and Red for instance. They won't be displayed as games, but rather they will be displayed as DNA sequences, which is different from other game launcher hubs out there. Still, Infinity is set to evolve from being just a launcher to something a bit more coherent and massive, and the first version of Infinity will not really be the final version either. So where is the modern day component? It's pretty much gone. That's what you need to know. You, the player, are now the modern component, similar to what we saw in Assassin's Creed Unity. There will be no more modern day storyline like what we saw with Desmond and Layla. In a sense, the Infinity storyline is going to incorporate you rather than that third-party protagonist. This basically confirms that from now on, Assassin's Creed games will be set solely in the past. We already know that Assassin's Creed Mirage will be set in the past and will not feature a modern day sequence or sequences, so that's going to be the expected norm from now on. I guess that's one way to phase out putting effort into the modern day story. Remember things like the codex entries, some emails, chat logs you saw outside of the Animus? Those will not be present in-game, but rather be present in the Infinity Hub. In regards to the future of Assassin's Creed games, they will not really follow one formula anymore. Red, for instance, will be an RPG. Hexe is a bit of an anomaly. It doesn't have a definition as of right now, and it's supposed to be a different type of game that Cote confirmed will not be an RPG. Mirage isn't going to be part of Infinity, but Cote said that we can expect to see similarly sized experiences for Assassin's Creed get incorporated into Infinity in the future. So what about the multiplayer thing I mentioned earlier? Currently it's called Invictus, and it's supposed to be some sort of standalone multiplayer game that may or may not be free to play. We'll just have to wait and see. So we could see something like what Call of Duty did with Warzone. I feel like this Invictus project is quite a ways out, so we have time. Kote did also add that Ubisoft wants to be able to support titles that come to Infinity for a long time and not just release one and done titles from now on. He said he believes that Assassin's Creed games can live for longer periods of time and that Ubisoft is now building them differently than they used to. In regards to my overall thoughts, I think it does sound pretty interesting. I obviously want to see how this would look in real life before I give a definitive opinion, but from what I've heard, this is a bit better than my initial expectations. I do think Assassin's Creed games deserve to live for longer than they currently do, and I like that we're going to get some variety in the styles and offerings of game types. So there's basically going to be an Assassin's Creed for every type of person. I don't think that just creating the same game over and over and over again makes much sense. And seeing that the offerings will not all just be 150 plus hour RPG titles is like really good. Because those RPGs are not made for everyone, let's face it. I guess though that the phasing out of the modern day story was an inevitable thing that was going to happen at some point in time. I mean, Ubisoft really kind of fumbled the modern day story after Assassin's Creed 3, so phasing it out like this is probably the most logical thing they can do at this point. A lot of people, including myself, have been complaining that the modern day story is now bland and just kind of bad compared to where it used to be, so it makes sense that this is the direction that they're taking. To add on to that, I think that incorporating the player as the modern day aspect is pretty intriguing, but I personally don't know how many people will be that interested in it. I suppose we'll just have to wait and see how Infinity works, but it does sound a lot better than like just a live service Assassin's Creed in a launcher. Personally, I'm pretty open to seeing something new for Assassin's Creed, and hopefully it doesn't turn out to be a massive disappointment. I guess we'll have to see how Mirage turns out and if it makes or breaks the series from there. I don't have a definitive opinion, like I said, just yet because I actually want to see it, but from what I've heard so far, it sounds pretty okay. I'm not totally against it, let me put it at that. And with that being said, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed that video, feel free to leave a like and comment below what you think about the idea of Infinity so far. Don't forget to subscribe with notifications set to all so you never miss another upload. It's just an easy way to support the channel. Check out my military sci-fi series and my newspaper, the links to those are in the description below. Thanks again, and Symbiosis out.